What is up, you guys? This is All Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Defiance 2050 video. So this is basically going to be a developer stream recap on all the things that they were talking about this early Friday during their Twitch stream. So this is basically all of the important things that I took note of instead of you having to watch the whole 45 minutes of their video. I just try to compile it into a very short video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the first thing that they buffed, the first thing or their weapons that they buffed was the shotguns. So the shotguns were buffed in both the fall off damage and their base damage. So shotguns essentially will become more useful in more PvE oriented gameplay. Next they talked about was the Commander Cronkite boss. So that was fixed. So the boss is no longer going to be one-shotted anymore by an assassin or really anyone. So he's actually just going to be a boss. But another thing is to take note of is Motherload will be getting a nerf in the amount of health that Motherload has. It's not, the nerf hasn't happened yet, but they said that it will be happening pretty soon. So that is something good to look forward to when having to do Motherload, so no one has to skip it. I mean, it's still probably going to be something that a lot of people are going to skip anyways because that's just not a fun fight. Next is going to be your contracts. So contracts no longer are only your mini event, your mini game type of modes like the hot shots and whatnot. They will still have those in the contracts, but those are no longer going to be the only things that you have in contracts. Now you'll have your conflict sites, which is what I'm doing right now in this video. Next thing is Bonesaw will also be getting a nerf or a fix. So one or the other, you can call it as you want, but it will be getting fixed to do the right amount of damage, because right now Bonesaw is doing an absurd amount of damage, being able to drop bosses and elites in just a few shots, few contacts. And then the next one is the Demolitionist. The Demolitionist will be released and purchasable for all systems on August 7th for both in-game store, which is the creator vendor, or real cash stores, which is like your PSN store, your Xbox store, your Steam. Next we're going to be going over is the new story, new enemies, new factions, new sieges and arcfalls. They're going to have all of these things in a future update, so that was confirmed that they will be having new enemies, new factions, new sieges, and new arcfalls, which is honestly a really nice, a really good refreshment, because I am honestly getting tired of seeing the same hell bugs and seeing the same dark matter and whatnot. Now, do I know if the enemies are just going to be reskinned enemies? For example, Destiny's Taken King enemies, or the Destiny 2 enemies. All of these guys were all reskinned, and I mean that's what happens with a lot of games. They tend to release quote-unquote new enemies, new factions. In reality, they're just reskinned. So hopefully, they're not reskinned enemies and they're just their own variants. And then the next we're going to be talking about is Synergies. So if you guys had played on the previous Defiance, they will be adding Synergies back onto the Defiance 2050, but Synergies are going to work entirely different from how they used to on the previous Defiance. So don't expect it to be the same or anything. And then now we're going to be also talking about the electric grenades. So your ion grenades and pulsar grenades, or just electric grenades in general, those are no longer going to stun enemies. So those are only going to apply damage over time and extra damage to enemy shields, but it will no longer apply stuns. But that hasn't been applied yet, but they did say that will be applied in a later update. And now for the storyline, they did say that they are going to be adding more story, not necessarily just new story, but they will be adding on more story to like lore, extra lore of hellbugs and dark matter and raiders and whatnot, just going more in depth with those specific enemy factions. As well as for the Crusader and the Engineer, when those classes get released, they will also have their own storyline as well, which is going to be pretty interesting. seeing how the Crusader came about and whatnot. So that's going to be pretty cool in my opinion. And another thing that was confirmed that they had announced was engineers will have turrets. Well, we don't know how the turrets are going to be like. We don't know if they're just going to be automated or if they're just going to be, I mean, not automated, if they're going to be like a manual type of turret or if they will just fight, if they'll attack enemies nearby. We don't know, but we do know that they have turrets. Engineers in the engineer class will have turrets. And then the last thing is Paradise Lost. So Paradise Lost is pretty much this whole different expansion, and yes, it's going to be free as well. None of the DLCs or updates are going to be purchasable because they're all free. So Paradise Lost is going to be another, just another, I guess, expansion to the game with a new boss, a new story, and a completely new area. Now, I don't know if the new area is going to technically be Silicon Valley or if it's just literally going to be another different area and we'll get Silicon Valley as an expansion as well. But that's pretty much it with this whole stream recap. And yeah, if you guys want to watch the streams, I'm pretty sure they stream every Friday. I tend to miss the streams because it's normally early in the morning, but they also do code giveaways for costumes and whatnot, and then they also give it to their, I guess, their content creators, which I'm not one of them, unfortunately, or their partners, the content partners for their game. So if you guys want to get those costumes, try to tune in their streams, so that way you can get some exclusive costumes, which is pretty nice. And then also you can get some good information. Just keep in mind their streams are about 45 minutes as well. But that's pretty much it with this video. If this helps you out, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section. And that's pretty much it. This is all Danny Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.
Great work. Mop up the rest and the bay should be safe from this nest.